Hey guys, back with another Echoing Thoughts podcast here, episode number 92. 92, a few more left for the year, man. This is coming up on my second year of podcasting. I appreciate you guys listening in and enjoying the content, trying to make it a little bit better, and excited for 2025. I got big plans that I kind of talk about at the end of this podcast that I need you guys' help with. But I first kind of just wanted to talk about how much I'm enjoying playing the game after this patch. It's been a week, only a week, and it feels like it's been a month already. I've been really enjoying leveling again. Legion, I got a third account for my arrow to prep for it. And so it's got a little bit lacking in Legion. So it's been a lot of fun using the Terra Burning, doing Legion, doing ults, doing dailies, and just seeing the EXP and speed leveling, how many levels you actually can get with just dailies, daily hunt, just from star forcing at lower star force. It is a breath of fresh air, honestly. It's been, when I was doing on my Paladin 8200, it was a grind. It was trying to min-max everything, SF 180 leech. Now I don't need any of that. So it's a lot easier, a lot less stressful, and Terra Burning is just insane. I got a Fire Poison Mage, having a lot of fun playing that class as an ult. Already up to 180s, mid 180s through Terra Burning, straight from zero. And I was at SF 180, 168. And just insane to see how fast leveling is there with dailies. So really enjoying that. And one of the things that I've enjoyed the most since then is just how much content is available, not just to me, but to everyone. Guildies. Hearing this, after this app update, the first thing that kind of came to mind was trying to get more people to clear more content. Like Gloom, even when Gloom came out, we were trying to get everyone their first clears. And now with people getting experience, getting increased damage, obviously, we've changed our Gloom teams from 1 to 2, and now we got 3. We're trying to get 3 permas in. And also for Will, after this last week, it must have been last week. Yeah, last Wednesday we must have done it. I don't remember, but we got a second Will clear team, and now we're going for a third. So just amazing. Even the hard Damien runs, the Lucid runs, I've had to readjust the schedule for the guild and a lot of people that have been helped. So that whole process actually has been pretty fun for me. Stressful at times. I think scheduling in general is hard on everybody, right? And I appreciate everyone that, has been flexible with their times and their characters to grind it out, because people were clearing one shots, right, for Will for a long time. And then now they have to go and they may fail 1 or 2 times to get other people accustomed to the mechanics. Gloom is still very, very challenging, especially for undergrid players. I think everyone involved it's going to be a learning curve, not just for me as a scheduler, not just for me as a carry, right? Give thanks to your carries out there. But I also think the undergeared players that are not getting carried, that still have a hard time, right? It's not like the content is still much more challenging for people with less gear, with less HP, and frankly, less time, right? They're expected to clear and not die and not mess up their first day of running, right? And no matter how much I kind of expect people to just pick it up quickly with all the resources available, it's still different once you actually get into a boss fight with Will, with Gloom. And I think everyone involved, it's a fun process, maybe not for everybody, but I think it's exciting and very challenging for everyone involved. And so we got to appreciate everyone for really putting in the time, whether you're the one that are under geared, first timers, or you are the carries, or give thanks to your schedulers as well, because they are kind of working through a lot of people's schedules, especially with time zone changes and the holidays coming up. It is very, very challenging, and appreciate everybody and understand that everyone has their own little struggles with it. throughout this whole process. But I think it's good for the game as well, because like just how much content and like routes people can take that can still make it fun and enjoyable, whether it's Legion, whether it's whether it's prepping for Arrow, whether it's prepping for that boss that's coming out in February, whether it is new content, new bosses. It is endless possibilities. And even for me, like on my palette, I'm still thinking about how if I want to downgrade it to explore what my Demon Slayer is going to be like, what my Arrow is going to be like with more cap and damage. And so I'm personally very excited since this update, with knowing that the Arrow is coming out January and then February is going to be more stuff. It's just, what I'm trying to say is roadmap needs to be a staple in 2025, because I think it just helps a lot of people prep and kind of gives people hope, and they're not sort of just guessing and waiting for the next patch. I think that's one of the biggest issues in the last few years, when there's kind of those dead periods that people don't really know what's going to be next. Nexon is very, they're very closed doors, not very transparent when it comes to what's coming next. So it makes it very challenging. People just lose motivation very quickly when there's no path forward thing to look forward to. So I think the roadmap, if there's one thing I would recommend for 2025, is that for Nexon, is that the people probably want the roadmap, number one, just to know what's coming. And still, like, if you throw in you don't give everything away, that's even better, right? I remember back in 2023, when Absolab came out, they actually had a roadmap coming into 2023, but they never mentioned Absolab. They never mentioned, maybe they did. No, I don't think they did. They never mentioned Absolab, or they didn't mention max damage cap increases. So those were bonus surprises that made it even more exciting and made people even more, made people want to even play even more, right? Because there was you have things to look forward to, as well as sneaky surprises. So I hope that they bring that back. I'm sure they already have their plans in place. I'll talk about what my predictions are, expectations are for 2025 in another podcast. But I think that just thinking back about this last week and what I will hope to see moving forward is a lot of content to be done, a lot of people making gains and progress, and getting these attempts in free to play with doing more bossing. And so it's exciting. It's exciting times. And so I'm excited to kind of share where I was at for the past week and what I've been doing. All right. So in this podcast, I just wanted to quickly do a quick will guide for first timers, for beginners, right? And I think I haven't made a full guide yet. I've done it for other bosses. And I think will is going to be more accessible to more players, especially with the carries, that I think there's going to be more people that are overwhelmed and trying to get all the information as possible. And so in this here, I just want to talk about how I help newer players just really keep it simple, because it can be very simple. If you're being invited to teams where there's people that are bigger DPS that are carrying you, your job is just to survive and DPS. And so you don't really have to worry about all the ins and outs and everything. You just have to know a few things. And so the first thing is, you'll see here, when the boss starts, you're going to get this gauge, right? So this is a built-in will mechanic, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. It does different things in each phase, but this is the one thing you have to pay attention to and be aware of. So this is what helps you change rooms. See, there's the blue room here. I'm in the blue room, and you can tell by obviously the background, but also if you're not sure, you can look at here. Whatever color is actually bright, blue is the room that you're in. So you can see right here, you're going to fill the gauge just by attacking. And so what I tell people is, phase 1, if you immediately, first thing you want to do, no matter what room you're in, is you want to be on the left side of the boss. Aggro would be on the right. So that's me and Ed over here, and everyone else. Everyone else is on the left. It makes it so much easier. You're going to notice no one is going to die. No one is even going to get knocked back or take any damage. Mechanics are out the door if you can do this. You will not get knocked back. Like Ed got knocked back here. And the second tip is if you get knocked back, immediately blink. So here, everyone's on the left, we're on the right, and it's just burst. So you'll listen to your callouts. I don't need to really get into mechanics of that, but you'll see how the gauge fills up here. To change rooms, you need half of the gauge. So just keep that in mind. Actually, maybe not half. Let's see. Maybe like a third? What is that, half? As you see it illuminate right here, maybe it is half, yeah. You could say that's half. Give or take, right? So remember that if you have to change rooms and you change rooms twice, or you accidentally misclick and change rooms at the wrong time, make sure that you know that a full gauge is at least 2 teleport changes. Rooms. So other than that, look, very simple. Go to the blue room, DPS it down to this marker, and when your callouts say switch rooms, or you see zeros, you switch to the purple. You see, now this room is purple. And then rinse and repeat. Stay on the left side, everyone's moving to the left, you don't get hit by the tornado, and aggro's on the right. And if for some reason you're out of position and you get knocked back here, like I did, I immediately blink. So I got knocked back, blink, you see my blink, teleports me right back on top of the boss, and rinse and repeat. Very, very simple. Phase 1 is very simple. Just know to teleport and be positioned correctly on the left side. And look, you're not going to get hit. Like even all these things, these spider legs, they don't do anything. Right? And then just here, if your callout says at 58, switch rooms. So right here, we're going to have to switch rooms to the ones with the eye. You just press the gauge. Right? Very, very simple. Phase 1 is very simple. That's all you got to know. Gauge, positioning, stay on the left side. And if you ever get knocked back, just blink back on immediately. And then for the test is pretty simple. Just get in here. Don't get hit by these. Dodge these attacks. Stay in here and you'll be safe. And it's rinse and repeat. Listen to your callouts. They'll tell you what room to be in, when to teleport, when to change rooms, and Jesus. And we're back. And now it's just rinse and repeat, right? And just DPS. As you're DPSing, you're going to fill up your gauge. So don't worry too much about your gauge. See, you get knocked back. People just blinked back on top and I changed room right there. So sometimes it gets hectic, right? But if you just focus on these 3 things. Left for positioning if you're not aggro. If you get knocked back, just blink right back on top of the boss. And other than that, listen to callouts for when to change rooms. And just DPS. Very, very simple. And you should have plenty enough DPS to get through. And if for some reason at the beginning you don't have enough gauge here, just stay in the room. Just stay in that same room. If you're not in the same room as everyone else, that's okay. Just make sure that you have enough gauge to change rooms twice, or to change rooms twice if needed. Right? I think that's where people get into issues, is if they don't fill their gauge fast enough, meaning you're probably getting hit by stuff and you're getting hit by stuff to prevent your gauge from filling, then just make sure you stay in that room if you need to, and then have that be able to change rooms if you need to for the test at 58 seconds, right? So wait for this test here at 58 seconds, make sure you have half a gauge, and move forward. All right, quick tips for phase 2. Again, it's pretty much the same thing, right? So everyone move to the left immediately and let your aggros stay on the right, get aggro. And then now you have the gauge here and you see it filled up, it illuminated much quicker, right? And this is why I spammed it right here, is for heal. So you'll see if people have a little potion right here, see this little thing right here on top of their head? That means they're not going to be able to take any heals, and they're not going to take any power elixirs. So they're not going to get like their own passive heals. They're not going to get heals from the bishop or party heals, and their power elixir is not going to proc. So this is the biggest mistake people make in phase 2. If you're dying here, it means you're not pressing this button, and you can spam the shit out of it. because it's very quick. You see it's already illuminated there. See, all these people have it up, right? That's why died. Probably they just didn't press the button. Just tunneling. So don't tunnel. And if you die, just remember, right? Just press it. Make sure it goes off too. Sometimes it's laggy or it doesn't proc. So just make sure it goes. And then, but other than that, just DPS. Stay in the middle. Don't worry. You get knocked back for some reason. Just blink right back on top of the boss like you did. Right? So like here, people got knocked back. All these people are going to get knocked back right here. Instead of just blink immediately. So see how they try to jump back? Just blink. Right? Save time. And then remember to heal. Simple as that. And there's DPS. And then once you get to the marker, see, I'm not healing because I'm in Synchro, but then I heal there. And then the test. That's what you got to know. You got to figure out what works for you. But there's just 3 combinations. That's the thing that people don't get reps from just by seeing it. Listen to your callouts, but obviously, it's better to at least have an idea of what to do. But listen, at least for that first move of the test, and then listen to your callouts. And make sure you heal in between. Because look, I'm using the HP here, and I'm telling these people, because if you get hit for some reason, but you're at 100%, you're not going to die. But if you're at like 70%, I think it's a 70% HP hit. So make sure that you're always healing in between tests, and make sure you're always at full HP. That's phase 2. That's it. It's rinse and repeat. You'll get, once the test is done, you'll keep doing DPS, stay on the left, heal up when you need to. Just press the heal just to get heals passively, stay at 100%, and you'll be good. 2 tests, clear it. Phase 2, positioning. There's not much to it. Once you just keep it simple. Keep it simple. You see that? Let your aggros control the boss. And then you just DPS. Do your job. Don't do too much. Don't get overwhelmed. Don't be trying to do all these things. That's it. Simple guide. Phase 2. Just got to use this gauge. Use this gauge and know your test. All right, now phase 3. Phase 3 is if you get through phase 1 and phase 2, you're golden. I think phase 3 is kind of like how Lotus. Phase 3 is usually the easiest and phase 1 is the hardest. So this one, phase 1 and phase 2 are the hardest, and phase 3 is, at this current meta, it's only going to be easier. It's just, there's a lot of room for error. So the main thing you have to know, again, is this gauge, right? This gauge helps cleanse all these webs. These webs, they're just going to overwhelm you if you don't cleanse it. It's very easy. Now, if you're one of the first timer, there's a lot of mechanics to kind of go on into it, but essentially just listen to your callouts. And if there's one thing that I want you to be aware of, right, is this poison. When poison procs, that's when you know the big not one shot, but the shot attack that kills the most people is what we call yellow eyes, right? When his spider does a yellow eye attack. So at the start, we stun, we let Ed, our aggro, get poison, and now you just stand far. Everyone else, again, positioning to the left, stands just far enough right here so that the poison does not proc and hit you, because they think it hits like 50 Ks or whatever. So just stand this far away. Everyone stack. You see, I use this right here icon as a little marker on top of me, so that everyone just stood on top of me. We did this for phase 2 of the test, and for this as well. It just makes it a lot easier. Something I may do in the future for sure. And then you can see the webs here on the left side. Axle Rag cleanse it. So what you got to do is you want to press the gauge and then walk over. Make sure you walk over these 2, and it's only 2 webs per cleanse. So it's not that big of a deal, honestly, but you see there, one person goes in and out. We're not coordinating this. This is not anything that needs to be super min-max, but it's just, as you see it, as you got your gauge, just be aware of it. Right? Oh, there's the yellow eyes right there. So let me just go back real quick. I wasn't paying attention. So you see how there's no poison, there's no green on Ed. So once poison right there, perfect. Poison happens, you see he gets poisoned. This is where I usually do call outs and say, make sure, if we have a party HP decreasing skill, HP scaled party skill like Sia's have, Benediction, Shell, things like that, we try to rotate through it. If we don't have one, then at least we are aware and people can use iframes, make sure that are 100% just so we don't die, right? And that's how it just becomes cleaner and smoother, and everyone can just DPS. So here at Poison, Yellow Eyes right there. See this attack right here? It's Yellow Eyes. It's very quick. It's either the first or second skill after Poison. And so it does basically map wide attacks. And I think we had Hourglass up for this one. Or she used Hat or something. I don't know what the heck. See, we had Hourglass here. Right here. And it went away to use maybe another skill. I'm not sure. But we had something available. No one died. And then now it's rinse and repeat, right? Poison, you can see Poison on Ed, the aggro, and no one does anything. You just stand. One person goes and cleanses here and there. When my burst cooldowns are down, I'm going to help Ed on the right side. Poison right there. And now I think it's knockback. There's a little knockback attack. And then here's Yellow Eyes right here again, right? So we had something for there. So we just had rotations, right? Talking to Arcia, who's coordinating with me. If she doesn't have anything, then our bishop will use Benediction and Shell, and we'll just rinse and repeat. Seals are huge for this. Like we had Warrens, we had Lades. We had Warrens in this one, Lades in another one. Just coordinating that makes it much, much simpler. And you can see webs come through more often. And I went over there for no reason. And it's just a DPS. Like once you understand that, just keep it very, very simple. And then let everyone else take care of the other mechanics. Webs, cleanse webs when you need to. Someone died there. Res them. And it's just DPS. I mean, the DPS is just insane. It's so fast. Even we had 6 first timers, I think, in this run. After we got through phase 1 and phase 2, we knew this is a easy clear. DPS was insane. We're doing this extremely fast. And if you have aggros or experienced players that are helping you out at the top of DPS, yeah, it's not going to be a problem. We're going to clear this in with 3 minutes remaining, 2 minutes remaining. So again, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, this is number 1. Know what it does, know when to use it, know how it fills up, and then positioning, left side, right? They just DPS. If you get hit, blink back on top of the boss. But positioning is crucial. Let your aggros, listen to your callouts, and just have fun, right? And once you get the hang of it, once you understand the test, it's rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. It gets much, much easier week after week after week. So hopefully this helps you guys. Just try to keep it simple. Try to not overwhelm yourself and try to do too much. Know your role. Know what you need to do. Be prepared for the test. Be prepared positioning-wise. And be in the right place. And just DPS. Tunnel. It's really, really that simple. Hope this helps. So the last thing I want to talk about Gloom about Will, that people always ask me is, what are the requirements for Will now? And that's it kind of depends on your team composition, right? If you have obviously big carries, 80, give you perspective, right? When we first cleared, we had people, I think our highest were obviously probably 60s, high, maybe 60, in the 60 mil caps. And then we had people as low as 50, right? And we cleared at 15, around, right down to the buzzer. This was before ignore enemy defense, which made it a lot easier. And then this is before, obviously, this max damage cap boost. So it really depends on how hard your carries are, what your ignore enemy defense is, and I think HP is crucial, right? I think it's very helpful, obviously. You just don't want to get one-shotted by things that are preventable. And what I usually prioritize is I'll take in people that are on alts, support classes that I don't have to worry about because they've already know the mechanics. They already know the test, right? Will is more about the players, not about the DPS, especially when you have you're mix and matching teams like we are, which a lot of teams are, to help more people clear content. But I would say if you are maybe all first timers, 10 first timers, I would say the average still needs to be around, let's say 50 mil cap, maybe around 20% ignore enemy defense minimum, and then maybe like 220, 250k HP. And aggros obviously more, lower DPS, maybe people tankier classes have less. But I would say that's still a good gauge. And there's wiggle room if you have 100 mil cap players, 80, 90, right? That kind of, like, anyone can do DPS. Like my Demon Slayer has 39 mil cap in Will, and like, right, I can compete with 40 mil, 45 mil cap, 50 mil cap players, right? Easily. Because mechanically I know what to do. I'm in the right positions, and Demon Slayers have pretty good burst and survivability and things like that. So there's a lot of things in play. My DPS holds my own, right? It's comparable to what people were clearing in our first team that had 50 mil cap. So my normal defense is around 26 on the Demon Slayer. So that obviously helps the cap wise. And Will has higher defense. So ignoring me defense, your stat is a little bit more impactful. So like, 50 mil cap versus 40 mil cap, but one is like 20%, 25% ignore defense. One is another 15 or 20. It balances out, right? So you need a combination of both, or, to make up in one area if you're lacking in the other. So keep that in mind. I think but I would say safely, like people say 40 mil cap. Yeah, I'm getting carried by people with 100 mil cap, right? It's just what it is. That's how it is. So balance, right? It's hard to answer, but I don't think the requirements have changed per se. It's just there's more room for error if you have the higher cap players to offset, right, the rest of the teams. All right, so last thing I want to talk about quickly was my plans for 2025. Right now, I'm kind of in the works and plan to. My goal for 2025 is to stream content and hopefully get it together, set up before Arrow comes out in January patch. So I have about 3-4 weeks, and so I'm excited for that. Not really sure how far I want to take it, but that is my goal for 2025. And I need you guys' help on what to do. I don't have a PC, right? I have a work laptop. I have a MacBook Pro that explodes when I try to stream or play the game even. So I'm looking for something that's a gaming setup that does the job, right? So please join the Discord. I'm going to be kind of setting up polls and asking questions about that. What's the best route to take? I know there's stuff you can build yourself. There's already pre-built stuff. I heard those are getting a lot better. There's a lot of options. I obviously missed like Black Friday sales, so I may have to look at like what the next sales are. Maybe when new design, maybe new stuff comes out. But for the most part, I'm just looking for input from people that have done it. Price, depends, but I just want something that's good and does the job, and I don't have to worry about it. And so yeah, please, in Discord, let me know, ask question or help me out, give your input. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say before I invest in this, and I want to kind of provide the best content as possible. And if you guys made it all the way to the end of the video, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe and join the Discord community. The Echo Clan community is growing, the best community in the game right now. And if you want to take your gameplay to the next level, improve your gameplay, do more damage, do more DPS, you definitely want to subscribe. The first 7 days are free, and you're going to get full access to everything in the channel. So you definitely want to check that out. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys next time.